Change your question, change your life. When it comes to everything you want to achieve can happen, but it takes one skill. And I look at my life and I say, why am I here? And the answer is decisions. The quality of my life is the quality of my habitual emotions. The quality of, you know exactly what it is you really want, what you desire, what you're really after. Clarity is power. The moment you wake up and you start realizing, I'm living in a home, an emotional home I don't want, you can change it. See, because everybody's, can you change people that don't want to change? Of course you can change people who don't want to change.
You aren't a mechanic for their flaws. You're the architect of the atmosphere. Rebuild your own foundation, and everyone around you must either renovate their ways or step out of the frame.
It's too short to suffer. Money. Can you have a lot of money and still have a horrible life? Yes or no? Yes. Dollars. But the habitual emotions you go back to are frustrated, pissed off. Then your life is called frustrated and pissed off. It doesn't. All you need is the right kind of. If you have enough leverage where change becomes an absolute.
Leverage isn't a clever tactic. It's the weight of your own integrity. When the cost of staying small becomes more expensive than the price of evolution, your absolute finally moves into your bones. Fast is fragile. You aren't gluing cardboard. You're forging an anchor, slow, heavy, and remarkably honest. When the world eventually shakes, you won't drift. You'll be the solid steel in the wreckage.
Different emotion, and those
You're the editor of your own film. If the scene feels heavy, change the lighting. Stop reading from an old script. Your labels dictate your oxygen. Choose definitions that finally let you breathe.
If you learn to do a little thing and you do it a little better, because of technology, you can scale things now. That's wealthy. If you have a ton of money and you don't experience joy out of it, if you can't extract the joy, you're not wealthy, you got money. And I can authentically tell you now, it takes a lot for something to take more than 90 seconds for me now. And the level of joy surpasses all the money you could ever have in a million years.
Money is fuel, but joy is the engine. If your internal thermostat is broken, no wealth will warm your soul. Reclaim your 90 seconds. A settled mind builds more than a frantic heart.
The leverage for them might be something for their children. Leverage for them might be spiritual growth. Live like everybody else, especially if you decide that you want to find something you believe in that you want to share. What the matter is, I want to make sure that you start being wealthy here, whether the numbers hit that or not.
Stop letting a bank statement dictate your dignity. If you forge a bedrock of character within, you'll possess a sanctuary that no market crash or sudden crisis could ever hope to bankrupt.
The leverage that will make them make themselves do it. The more clear you are on specifically what you want, the faster your brain can get you there. But if you're with the world, even at a small scale, even part-time, and then grow it, because the opportunity today is unlike any other time. What decisions? Money. But some people never get beyond scarcity no matter how much money they have. You see when it's somebody else and it's physical. It's harder to see when it's yourself and it's emotional, because we have an emotional
You
home.
furnish that emotional home with the rusted, heavy furniture of old defeats. It feels safe because it's familiar, but it's a cage. Stop polishing the bars. Pick the lock right now.
Can change your life, because I want to share with you, there's 3 decisions you're making every moment of your life. You're even making them right now. But none of that works if you don't change your psychology first. Right? Because that is always the barrier. And if I am who I am is because I didn't want to suffer. I had to find answers. And because I suffered so much, I don't want you to ever suffer if I can do anything about it. I can't get enough leverage, and you break someone's pattern enough times, a new pattern will show up. If you're conscious, you can create the new pattern.
Stop trying to patch the leaks in your sinking boat. Build a vessel that actually navigates the deep. You aren't just fixing habits, you're dismantling a claustrophobic architecture to finally let yourself breathe.
Sometimes this week might be for you to expand your set point, not so you have more money. First, expanding your set point on enjoyment. Most people suffer even when they're successful. Listen, If you're a man named Scrooge who clearly doesn't want to change, in fact, he's certain he doesn't need to change.
That certainty isn't a shield. It's the rust seizing your engine. You're guarding the deed to a hollow vault while life waits outside. Scrape it off before your comfort becomes your coffin. Your conditions are just the raw lumber, splintered and rough. But you are the carpenter. Don't curse the wood. Sharpen your blade. Your decisions build the house. The storm just tests the roof.
You break an old pattern and you do it fresh. Your brain over the years has learned ways to move more rapidly since when you did your
You've outgrown the heavy armor you built to survive. That old signature, it's a ghost. You're capable of more. You're faster now. So stop dragging a former self into this morning's light. You aren't just finding joy. You're mining it. Think of those old frustrations as raw ore. Your focus is the furnace, refining that jagged, heavy resentment into the gold of an unshakable soul.
Pretty soon, some of the decisions, and I want to share this with you right now because this is what controls your whole life. Whether you succeed
Your decisions
or fail,
aren't just logic. They're the oxygen of your identity. You're not picking a destination. You're designing the skin you'll wear. When the noise finally fades into a quiet, earned joy.
So he doesn't want to lose being rich. He doesn't want to lose not being hurt. So he has a belief. Be mean to people and everything works out, even though he's miserable. Can we have beliefs that we find a better way to get the outcome? Now, how do you do that? Yes, 3 questions. Question 1, what is my happy or miserable, whether you have great relationships or terrible ones, whether you start a business or just talk about
Your
it, never
indecision
do it.
is a slow-motion theft of the life you owe yourself. Stop treating your potential like a museum exhibit. Touch it. Use it. Your future self needs calluses, not more sketches.
You can make that make no sense and yet still believe him, yes or no? Sure, we just get wired. So I'm watching this guy.
You're using a map drawn by someone who was lost. Stop following those faded lines and start cutting a new path. Your future self demands more than a slightly better version of survival.
Because when you compare yourself to others, you will steal your joy. Jot it down. Because you're never fair. Money won't do it. The acknowledgement of others won't do it. Everything you think will do it will not do it. Only one thing will. The only way people change is if they associate either enough what? Pain. So they have most important what? Outcomes for me to get this week in my business. And you just write those outcomes out.
Defining the outcome anchors your ship, but don't ignore the tide. You're not merely sketching maps, you're carving a legacy from granite. Every choice today is a strike of the chisel. Aim well.
Are you happy in your relationship? Is your body healthy? Do it. You drawing a line in the sand and making the most important decision of your life that you're going to live in a beautiful state no matter what. Because associate changing will equal enough what? And ideally, if you get both, you'll change. If you just keep looking at those outcomes every day, how am I doing on that outcome? Your brain will come up with ways to get to that outcome.
The internal architecture, because your character must be wide enough to hold the weight you're inviting. Don't just build a skyscraper. Dig a foundation that won't buckle when the ground starts shaking.
Everything else will go. Life is too short to suffer. We have a choice. Listen to
The
me.
signal that your current skin is too tight. You aren't being punished. You're being stretched. Stop trying to protect the old version of you and let the expansion happen. Finally.
Action for most people. Activities. Most people may mistake.
Stop counting the miles on the treadmill and start looking at the ground you've actually covered. You aren't a motor running. You're a builder. Your worth isn't your clock. It's the wall.
Where you are is not what matters. I also want you to know where you want to go is what matters. And listen to me. Pain is sometimes part of life, but suffering is a choice. The only way you create change is changing what you link pain
You must make stagnation feel like a heavy, cold anchor, and effort feel like oxygen. Your nervous system needs a new gravity. Stop tolerating the comfortable decay. Force your body to crave the climb. Stop cataloging the cracks in your own foundation. Finding faults is easy. It's a lazy map. Instead, hunt for those quiet strengths you've ignored. That is precisely the oxygen your future requires.
That's what controls you. Lots of times in your head, you know what you should do, but your gut takes over. Your fear, or you make this ritualized, just like the things you've learned this week. They're all great, but if you don't systematize them, they'll work when you do. What's right is also always available. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about being intelligent. Most of us can make money. When can you make the most money in the shortest period of time?
The
What
frost
season?
isn't your enemy.
It's winter.
It's the silence you need to hear the cracks in your foundation. While others hibernate, you're pouring concrete, hardening your structure before the next season demands more. Systems aren't cages. They are the heavy riverbanks that give your intensity a direction. Without that structure, you're just a flood, drowning your own progress. Stop leaking energy. Build the canal now.
If you play, what happened is your brain changed what it used to link pleasure to, it now linked pain to. What's the result I'm after? What's the ultimate result? What do I want out of this week, out of this thing, out of my business, out of my life, out for my body? And focus controls our life, but most of us don't control our focus. Now, our focus controls our feeling, but we don't have great execution. And the only thing we're paid for is execution.
Stop staring at the blueprint.
This week,
Execution is the grit under your fingernails. The moment your intent meets the jagged edge of reality. You don't need more maps. You just need to move your feet.
as clear and specific as possible. Generalities will. The minute we focus on something, our brain makes the second decision, and that is, what does this mean? Our brain got it from Jim Rohn was repetition. To understand repetition is the mother of mastery. But it's going to control your life. Your job is to change what you link pain and pleasure to. So that night, what was pleasure became always. What's my outcome? Because I don't want to just call them.
Your outcome isn't a checklist. It's the temperature of the room when you leave. Don't just send words, build a fire. Give them enough warmth to survive the cold nights when you aren't there.
Does he change his life a little or completely? And by the way, how fast?
It happens when you stop negotiating with the version of yourself that failed. Treat your time like a bleeding artery, and let that urgency burn every bridge back to your small life.
Bible bias that says we respond more to fear and pain than we do to pleasure. If you need to hear it and hear it and hear it, because each time you hear it with more emotion, more feeling, you apply another part and another part. Who's everything he has in the present pain and everything in the future pain.
When you stop hunting for side doors, you finally start digging. That weight isn't crushing you, it's sharpening your focus into a blade. You're not trapped. You're finally forced to become formidable.
It's to jolt you, because that's what's going to make you pay attention. I don't remember that shit being in the movie, right? It's because you're growing, because there's something new. So every time I make sure I don't say, it's painful, you can escape to the past and get out of the pressure to change. How many follow this? Say I. Or you can escape to a future because no one knows what it is for sure. And it's based on an outcome. I'm going to get back up. I don't give a damn whether it's the right time or not. I want to do it at that time.
Forget the calendar. Outcomes aren't ripened fruit waiting for a season. They are iron you forge while the metal is still cold. You don't find time. You strip mine it from your own distractions.
As much as I think I know about working with the best guys on earth, there's so many ways to crack this egg. So do it. Your brain went, it's painful now, it was painful in the past, it's going to be worse in the future, that's it. That's what I call a Dickens pattern. How many like to have your company focused on outcomes, results, and not activities? Say I. People say all the time. That leads to the third decision. What are you going to do? If you're really angry, you're going to do something different than if you're feeling excited. I was in the middle of writing that book. Where I am now versus I was then, because I've applied these tools
are
is
paperweights
beyond imagination.
Until you exert leverage. Don't just study the blueprint. Swing the hammer until your palms callous. Your evolution isn't a miracle. It's the biological tax of your heavy lifting.
We all get what we have to have. Some have to succeed, some have to survive. And I thought I've focused on money. It wasn't my focus. I changed to make sure I included money as my focus. But I wasn't somebody saying I've got. I'm not here to give them a gift. I'm here for them to open up their own gifts, and that's really what my work is.
Anger is just raw energy looking for a job. Stop treating your frustration like a poison. It's the friction needed to strike a match. You're not stuck. You're outgrowing your current floor.
But to get frustrated, to get angry, get all those things, I just don't stay there. I mean, I used to be there for a month or two. I used to live in depression. You are, if you think you have nothing to share, we all have some problems that we've solved, some challenge. To do that, we got to take this thing called money and put it in a context.
You're not
where it
just
doesn't add stress
balancing
to
a
your
ledger.
life. And
You're disarming a tick clock. When the noise of survival stops, your mind can finally stop flinching. This is the baseline, the clearing where you build your armor.
I need to care about strangers. That's why I'm here today. Sense of skill and understanding and optimism that even if all hell breaks loose, things all the time. But I'm happy the vast majority of the time because I'm doing what I love with who I love, and there's a meaning in what I do.
Magnificence isn't a trophy you collect. It's the marrow in your bones. When the terrain turns jagged, and it will, your shared meaning becomes the gravity keeping your feet on the ground. You are a wild forest, not a paved lot. Those jagged edges in your timeline, the scars and the stalls, are simply the rings inside a tree, proving you survived the winters.
I don't give a shit if you can extract as much joy as possible out of every moment from little things, not just the big things. They have a ticker tape parade in New York and they shake the president's hand, and then what? They thought the way to have adventure is walk on the moon, and they did it.